This is Mondays with Mike and Murf. He is Murf. I am Mike. Every Monday, hopefully, we will be here around 4 o'clock live for a couple hours so you can get your dose of Raider talk, Raider nonsense, and basically positivity. I actually drank some positivity juice. I put some positivity in here because I've been a little mad lately. So I got positivity juice, Murf. So what are you drinking? I got positivity juice. What do you got?
I have my positivity go-go juice as well, Mikey. So this ought to be a caffeinated, sugarized, wound up. Heck, we were shooting for 90 minutes. We might get done in 68 minutes with all the rapid talking we're going to have on this episode.
That's right. This is our dress rehearsal. The Raiders had their dress rehearsal last week, but we're playing our starters. And we're going to try to get the show done within 90 minutes because we got to do it. So if you see me cut people off or it looks like I'm being rude, I'm really not. We're just wrapping it up like gift,
That's right.
Baby. So, Murf, in a real quick summary, what you been up to the last couple of days? Tell us.
Had a great day on Raiders Fan Radio yesterday, of course. Myself and my Uncle Mosh. You can check out everything we do at RaidersFanRadio.com and also on the Murf's Fan Cave Podcast Network, where you find Mondays with Mikey and Murf. You find Raiders Fan Radio, and you find the Fan Club Blitz. All three of those shows on Murf's Fan Cave Network, MurfsFanCave.com. But so, yeah, I've had a great time doing those shows, of course. And, of course, here, back. This is like my second home now, Mikey. I love Mondays with Mikey and Murf. This is a blast. So we got to watch a boring football game on Friday, and now I get to actually have some excitement in my life by doing this show.
I'll be honest with y'all. This is all I got, Murf. It's all I got, Murf. It's me, you against the world. It's like Tupac.
I got you, buddy. I got you.
That's all I got.
You lean
all
on
right,
me all you want.
Let's get the show started.
Lean on.
Say it again?
How do we lean? Yeah, there we go. Lean that way. There you go. You can lean on me, buddy.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. I leaned on Murf in case you didn't see it. But let's get the show started. Let's get into some headlines, deadlines, breadlines. Murf, it's always a struggle for every human being to pay rent.
Too much.
All right, in the first headline, this is basically the big headline from the game. And John Gruden, right after, spoke to the media about how bad he felt the backup quarterback situation ended, and he made a statement in his press conference saying, we're going to see who's available, and we're always looking to get better. It's a generic statement, but many believe that John Gruden is not sure that the Raiders' backup quarterback is on their roster, and they might be seeing who's available. What say you on the topic, Murf? And is there a quarterback you might try to get?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks on the move as soon as we get to the point where teams start making cuts, especially nowadays where teams will only carry 2 quarterbacks. We'll see a lot of people moving. I don't know if you watch the All or Nothing series on HBO, but, they got like 4 quarterbacks on their roster right now, and the odds are 1 for sure, and can be maybe 2 of them gone. So anyways, that's just one example. This is going to be happening all over the league. So there's going to be quarterbacks made available. What I don't know, Mikey, is it really, really that much of a focus for the team? And I had this question on Raiders Fan Radio yesterday, and I'll pose it back to you. We went so long without having a quarterback. We went through Marcus Tuiasosopo and, Aaron Brooks and Carson Palmer and Kerry Collins and yada, 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 yada. For so many years, we went through major quarterback issues. I didn't even mention Jamarcus. We had so many major issues that now we have a franchise quarterback. Like, I'm thankful I'm thankful we have that guy. I don't want to get too hung up on the backup quarterback. Now, granted, look, I know last year's Eagles. I know Tom Brady.
You need Derek Carr is one injury away from
I understand.
The disaster that was 2 years ago.
But is that the hill we want to die on? Do we want to actually mortgage other positions in order to address backup quarterback? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not completely sold on this idea. Like, yes, we need one, and yes, they need to address it, but we don't need to sell the farm to get one. Like, let's get all crazy with this thing.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that, but John Gruden.
I know you're not, but the world is. You look at one trip through Raiders social media, dude, and everyone's freaked out. Like, we're not going to win the Super Bowl this year because we don't, because of EJ Manuel. I'm like, get over it, man. It's a backup quarterback. Like easy Raider
They're
Nation.
like me. They're very emotional. They're instantly emotional, just like me. But John Gruden picked up veterans, so I was a little perturbed why he didn't pick up a veteran backup quarterback in the offseason. But if anybody's available,
Colin Kaepernick's out there.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to throw out the name Colin Kaepernick. What type of a controversy would that make? Even though I think he is better.
Al would have done
possibly,
it. Al would have done it. Al wanted him before. You know what I mean? Of course, Al Davis passed away long before any of this protest stuff happened, but Al wanted him out of Nevada. I mean,
you know what? With Gruden picking up players, I can't see a semi-decent running quarterback like a third string. I wouldn't mind having Kaepernick on the roster. But Teddy Bridgewater, that's an interesting pickup. You think they should look after him?
I think
there's a couple other like Derek Anderson, Jay Cutler. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm being facetious about Kaepernick. I think at this point, like it or not, there's too much baggage that comes along with it. I mean, there's just too much else going on around it, and I just don't see anybody. And I don't look right, wrong, and different. I'm not pulling a side here. I'm just saying that just the condition of things that go on around him now, that's just become so much bigger that sadly, frankly, he probably isn't going to have another job in the NFL. But in terms of Teddy Bridgewater, first off, Teddy, I think, got a raw deal. You know what I mean? He got a raw deal because of injury, which you're not supposed to lose your job because of injury. That's a bunch of BS. Don't ever buy that line. But, like, the Vikings freaking sold this dude out, man. Like, he didn't lose his ability to play football. He got hurt. And they freaking moved on without him, man. It kind of left him.
But would you go after
Sure,
Teddy?
but no one's going to afford him.
So
here's my short way of saying it. He's going to have too much value. The Raiders don't need somebody of that caliber as a backup. If they could get him on the cheap, well, then sure. I think it'd be an amazing backup. But somebody else is going to need him to, like, start. You know what I mean? Like, someone's going to go down somewhere. Something's going to happen. That dude's going to be a starter somewhere probably.
The only thing I hate about this, and we'll end this topic here and move on, but his doctor said his knee was mangled in terms of the press. I had to rebuild it from scratch. It's like the $6 million man. Why the hell would his doctor report that when he's trying to find a job? That's ridiculous. All right, Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie signed last week. It happened the day after we did our show. I like this as a pickup for depth. I really appreciate it. Give me your quick thoughts on this. I think this will help out.
Yeah, I love him as a player. He's versatile, can go and drop back and play some safety. At 30 years old, was already one of the fastest guys in the league, ran a 4.29 at the 40. So, even with a guy that fast, even if they lose a step, he's still faster than everybody else. So speed definitely won't be a concern. And by all accounts, he'll be a great locker room guy. He'll be a great mentor to some of our younger players. And he is a badass Madden corner, and I'm going to love having him in the game.
I agree. But this goes to the fact that Gruden is still not only getting veterans, but he's picking players that have shined on Monday Night Football. Okay, in the corresponding move, we predicted it last week, pretty much.
Sure
Murf.
did.
We were the news outlet that did this, Murf, last week, and it came to fruition a week later. But unfortunately, the Raiders have waived Obi Melifonwu. Here's the initial money details. A lot of people like details. Cutting safety Obi Melifonwu cost the Raiders $1.025 million in dead money on this year's salary cap and $709,000 on next year's cap. He earned $2.55 million for 5 games in general, 1 start and 5 tackles last season. But dude, it came to a head. Some question his passion on the field, not only the injuries, or did he just get injured so much that he couldn't come back from his hip? I really don't know the answer. I do not know, but it's a sad state when he was praised during the draft and we all really wanted him to succeed. So they cut Obi Melifonwu. Give your thoughts. You did an interview with him,
Yeah, first off, he was a super good guy, very gracious with his time to join us on our show. And this was a tough one for me. This is not the kind of ones that we want to be accurate on. I was hoping that wouldn't come to this, but sadly, Yeah, the Raiders have decided to move on. Now, there is a little bit of a misnomer that he was technically waived. And so since he was waived, he goes out on waivers and is open for any team to go in there and then claim his contract.
But he cleared waivers. I haven't heard no report yet.
Yeah, so guess whose injury reserve he's now on? Ours. Like, he's still a Raider.
Is he officially on the injury reserve? I haven't seen that.
Yeah, he's on our IR, so technically he's still a Raider. Now, so the Raiders can't cut him while he's hurt. So when he comes back from injury, then the Raiders can then officially cut him. But until then, he's all ours. So kind of an interesting dynamic. Now, that said, also about him, his money's fully guaranteed. So he's going to get paid no matter what, if he ever sets foot on a football or practice field again this season.
What money's guaranteed? Do you possibly know off the top of your head?
Yeah, it was like that. It wasn't that 709 number you have there, but it's close. It's like in that range. It's like high sixes or something like that. So it's
the draft pick money, right? Like
right.
The contract from the draft.
Exactly. And he gets that no matter what. So, and that was the reason why the Raiders did what they did, is that they were on the hook for his cash no matter what. So you kind of throw it out there, see if anybody wants to pick up his actual salary, which nobody did, so they're on the hook for that, and then that's, the Raiders are stuck with it, and so be it. So, I mean, I feel for him, man, because the guy is such an athletic freak, and, this whole idea of him not loving football, I mean, there's been a lot of reports to that, so I don't want to completely shoot down that idea, but I have a hard time with embracing the idea that someone has gone through their entire, young life, high school life, college life, draft life, playing in the NFL, and then all of a sudden they just, I'm not really into football that much. Like, I don't know. Like, that doesn't sound right to me. Like, but I could see discouragement from injury. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that I could see.
Look, I'm sure they love football, but they got some of their money so that maybe they could support their family or whatever for a few years. But maybe while they're on the field, they're not loving the practices. They're not loving the real grind.
Yeah.
They didn't think it would be as bad at the NFL. They got 20 different coaches in their ear every day. Come on. Now they got Gruden, who loves to yell. And you saw him yelling at Connor Cook. And, maybe that's what it is. It's just – and then on top of that, they put him at cornerback. They put him in a bad position. He hurt his hip again. And it's just he's maybe in the back of his mind, you know what, screw all of you guys. I'm a little tired. I don't know what's going on. I don't feel good. You know what? I'm just going to take a seat back. But then, unfortunately, I believe that led to him being cut. We could talk about that for days. But Raiders, John Gruden, everybody is saying, Mikey Raider, he's not playing starters because he's holding his cards, like he's a poker player. Apparently he's all in, but he won't show his cards. Okay. But he's keeping his cards close to the vest. But look, now reflecting on my instant reaction, this preseason for multiple teams, I think they're kind of protesting 4 preseason games a year now in an indirect way by not playing their starters and stuff like that. Not all teams, but some of them. I think in hopes that they want it to be moved down to 3 games or 2 games because, again, the injury is such a big concern for around the league. And I don't know, but so I don't know. I haven't appreciated John Gruden's decisions and play calls, and I've been a little concerned, unfortunately. And everybody's like, he doesn't want to reveal his playbook. And I'm like, why not? You got to see what works early on. So you can adjust on the fly. You want to see your offense all together, at least more than 13 snaps. For Derek Carr in 3 games, 13 snaps. And in one of the games, he had none. So I don't know. It was concerning to me. But of course, the media took a play on this. And then we had this from Colin Cowherd and a guy named Kevin Clark, where they talk about John Gruden being flat-footed on offense as proof through this preseason. So we'll get to that audio. And then, Murf, I want your opinion if you think Gruden any issues or if he's flat-footed.
John Gruden. I see you're mirror. I'm like, I don't know. I think he's quotable, but what's going to happen? I mean, it has this feeling, Kevin. It's going to be messy. That division, by the way, Denver's got 2 elite pass rushers. Yeah. Chargers are loaded. Kansas City's roster is frighteningly good. Could the Raiders be a disaster?
The sport of football reinvents itself now every 2 years, 3 years. The spread. I talked to Lincoln Riley a couple weeks ago. He said the Super Bowl was a Big 12 game. That's what it was. Shotgun offense, RPOs everywhere. And so since John Gruden last coached a game 10 years ago, the sport has changed 4 or 5 times over. Now, what the Raiders are betting on is that he's going to be able to get up to speed very quickly, and that he was enough in the game in those production meetings that he understands the modern offense. But I think that, he's almost like the Andrew Luck of coaches. He's got a lot of catching up to do. And I think that, the sport just changes so much that you just have to figure out a way to build a modern offense on the fly. And every coach John Gruden is going against has been doing that for 5 and 6 years. He's going to be caught flat-footed. He's like a safety. He's going to be caught flat-footed.
Hey, I agree. I'm a little concerned about Gruden, and we're not going to go into it. But I want your take, Murf. What's going on, brother?
I think
do you have any issues with Gruden? You think he's going to have a flat-footed offense? What's going on?
I think this idea that Gruden doesn't know what he's doing is such a tired take. Like, I don't understand where you can evaluate what he's done in his career, where the investment that he's had in the sport, and then expect that he's just going to come out and be like, like he's not going to know what's going on. Like, that is just, it's such a path of least resistance, easy, lowest common denominator, boring take. Like, that's the best you can come up with. These guys are employed by Fox Sports or whoever the heck it is, and that's the best thing you can come up with, is that John Gruden's going to get caught flat-footed like a safety. That's what they teach you in journalism school. Congratulations, you are a total douchebag. Like, that is an absolute terrible take. Here's what the deal is, man. The practices that the coaches now are having with joint teams and let me set this up. In terms of the starters playing, the joint practices and the way that things are structured now, you can accomplish the same thing with reps in practice that is a controlled environment that you can in a preseason game. So the necessity of once upon a time of having those people play in a preseason game aren't as intense as they used to be, because now you can accomplish that in your joint practice, in your controlled environment, and keep people from hitting your $25 million a year quarterback. So that's the reason that you don't play the starters, okay? Now, in terms of the John Gruden's strategy or him being caught flat-footed based on offense, what John Gruden knows a billion times more about the way that offenses are played than any of these morons that are sitting in these studios doing these kinds of shows. And here's the thing about John. He has a one-time advantage that he is going to take advantage of. His one-time advantage is people don't know what he's going to do. People don't know what he knows. People don't know what his strategies are going to be.
Again, but they will know. No.
Let me go.
After Monday Night Football, they're going to know no matter what.
No, they're not. You gave me the floor. Now let me finish. You're going up against a guy like Sean McVay on Monday Night Football, who these guys intricately know each other from their families all the way down because their dads and grandfathers work together. There's a huge history between the McVays and the Grudens. John is not going to tip. You mentioned poker. He's not going to tip his hand not one teeny tiny bit because he has the advantage. And look, teams are not going to catch up to him after week 1. They might catch up with him starting by week 8, by week 9, but that initial advantage of people not knowing what he's going to do, he's got to take advantage of that. He's a smart guy. People, they dumb him down. They dumb the Raiders down. They dumb us down as fans. I'm tired of it, man. It's a ridiculous notion. And the last thing I'll say is that in terms of the preseason games getting reduced, it is not going to happen. If you look at the way that the players are paid, when you make a final 53, your contract is paid out over 17 weeks. So take the totality of your contract for that season, divide it by 17, and that's what you get paid every week. The preseason games, you get paid a per diem. So you get paid like $1,000 a week or whatever it may be. So the owners are making just as much money on ticket sales and on concessions and all that stuff and parking and everything else that goes on in the stadium. And they're only having to pay the players $1,000 a game or whatever the heck it is. So it's a money-making thing for the owners. It's not going anywhere. And again, these takes, man, y'all think bigger. Don't narrow it down into these small little buckets, man. Don't reduce yourself to that.
Look, very well said, and I appreciate your commentary. You communicate your views, at many times better than I do. I tend to go off of the instant reaction, of what I see or, within 10, 20 minutes. But look, I really appreciated that. And you made me think about things a lot differently. So I appreciate that. But I'm being honest to myself in saying I'm still a little concerned because I haven't officially seen it on the field and I want to. But I appreciate what you said. But I personally am a little nervous, just like some other people as well. And then in summary, there was a report also from a person on our Twitter. They said that the Packers didn't start their players because of the dirt infield, that they didn't want to get Aaron Rodgers and some of their big offensive people injured because of the dirt infield in Oakland. In a way, boy, that's disrespectful if that's true. Just quick thoughts on that.
This is classic Raider misdirection. If you listen to some of the stories that Madden would tell, he would talk about how other teams would accuse the Raiders of watering down the field, of making the field oversaturated. That way it would slow down the opposing teams coming in. And Madden used to say, we never did that, but if they wanted to think that, we weren't going to stop them. So if players and teams are thinking, playing on that dirt infield in Oakland, man, we're going to get hurt. Okay, you just keep on thinking that. You just keep thinking that we have those kind of advantages. You keep thinking we put helium in the football and we write dirty messages on your locker, and you keep thinking all the things you think that are going to hurt you or keep you from playing well in Oakland. You just keep thinking those things. Come on.
It's Gruden's strategy, Murf. That's why they stayed in Oakland for this year. He wanted the dirt infield to mess with the other team's starters. So, hey, hopefully in the regular season, when they play in Oakland on the dirt infield, every other team will be like, we don't want to play our starters. We don't want to get them injured on the dirt infield.
That's okay.
Advantage.
Heck yeah.
All right. This freaks me out, makes me laugh, but it concerns me. Apparently, the new Las Vegas stadium is going to include a jail and a courthouse. But let me just be honest, to the disrespect from the media to Raider Nation, this is not the only stadium that literally has a jail and a courthouse. We're not the only one. I don't know the exact ones, maybe New York or whatever, but still, it's just like, is Judge Dredd literally going to be the judge? I mean, you get busted for yelling at a Aaron Rodgers or something, then you got to go in front of Judge Dredd, and he's like, I'm the judge, I'm the jury, I'm the executioner. And then Raider fans are going to, and what if they go to the jail in the courthouse on Friday night? Do they have to stay till Monday, till the judge comes in? So do they got 3 days of rest over the weekend? I don't think this is ridiculous, Murf. Is it necessary, and what the hell? I don't know.
Well, first off, let me just say this. You're absolutely right that there are these holding cells at multiple stadiums around the league, and the reason that I know that is because I've been in one. Really?
Tell that story. Let's go.
Okay. Formerly Joe Robbie Stadium, all right, in Miami, all right. It went to Pro Player Park, and now it's Dolphin Stadium. No, it's Hard Rock, right? It's Hard Rock Stadium. So back when it was Joe Robbie, and I was a young man. This was before I became a church-going individual and became Faith Family Football. Before then, it was Coors Light and football. And, I partook a few too many at a game. We'll say I was overserved, Mikey, and got a little rowdy. I love my football. I love my Raiders, and I got a little rowdy with some Dolphin fans and said a few things that I probably shouldn't have said and things that I wouldn't repeat on this show, and nor am I proud of. But that said, the county sheriff, I forget which was the Dade County that's down there. It's either Dade or Broward. I always mix them up. But anyways, one of those county sheriffs that actually work security at the game, like they have off-season sheriffs that work security at the games. Well, they kindly came over and introduced themselves to me and escorted me to these fine facilities underneath the stadium, and where I resided for the rest of the game. And I wasn't released until well after the game was over, and thankfully I had good friends that waited for me in the parking lot. And then we promptly went to South Beach afterwards and then blew off some more steam. But yes, so these things have been around for a while, and I've seen the inside of one.
Just your thoughts. Is it necessary? Do you agree?
Well, it is if you got a drunk Murf in the building, apparently. So, yes, I would say yes.
Good point. Speaking of jail, since you gave a little story, I've actually been to Disneyland jail. Who would have ever thought they had a Disneyland jail? Like, literally, I I went with a couple of actors, cast members. Some of them were on the Mighty Ducks and all that. We filmed a movie, but we went to Disneyland all together as a group. We went on a thing called the People Mover. Some people might remember it, but it's a little thing that goes around the entire Disneyland, and it goes through the world of Tron and all that. But there was a lot of crowds waiting in line for other rides while the People Mover that we were on went around them. So we decided to moon people. Semi-popular actors on the People Mover. We decided to moon them when they were down below looking at us. And then when we got off the ride, they had like FBI Disneyland agents, like 20 of them with earphones, microphones, and they're like, they're coming. The fat one's in front of me. The fat one's in front of me. Like literally. Then they took us to Disneyland jail. I kid you not. They had different Disneyland characters in every cell, and we went to the basement of Disneyland somewhere, and our cell was Goofy. It had a Goofy image on the wall, the Goofy character. And then there was a dude next to me, and he goes, I kid you not, Murf. He goes, dude, what you in for? and I said, we mooned people. And then I go, what you in for? And he goes, I pissed on Pluto in the parking lot. He needed to go to the bathroom, and I guess there was like a Pluto statue in the parking lot, and he pissed on it, and we went to Disneyland jail.
Oh, my gosh. That's amazing. Your
and we went into private rooms, and they asked us the story. They're like, who started it? Who did it? And one guy, this guy, Eldon Henson, he's on Daredevil now. But he was in the Mighty Ducks. He was one of the Bash brothers in Mighty Ducks. But he took the blame, and then they legally said you could never come to Disneyland again.
Wow!
He took all the blame for it.
No kidding.
I don't know if it holds true, but it's an interesting story. Okay, let's get to this, man. Murf, I'm scared of this situation, Murf.
Of course.
There's too many trade rumors. Now apparently the Jets, the Bears, the Giants. Is there any merit to the trade rumors of Khalil Mack? Is there any merit to it? And just, would you trade him? Because I'm freaked out about this whole situation.
I can't remember what show it was that we've talked a little bit about the concept. So
every show.
No, I mean the idea of a trade, but this concept, and I'll keep it brief. And this was before the Jets thing even happened. But look, if people know that there's a potential for a conflict, right? So they're going to pounce on that. They're going to prey on that. So there are teams, a lot of teams out there that would love to employ the services of Khalil Mack. So is it fair to assume that they're reaching out to the Raiders and saying, hey, are you going to move this guy? And if you were, what would it take to move him? So, and the Raiders are going to give an answer. Look, everything I have is for sale. That's if it's not nailed to the floor, then it's for sale. And so, if somebody offers you a stupid enough offer, if they offer you an entire draft for Herschel Walker, you take it, right? If they, you know what I mean? Like, or what was it? Ditka did that for Ricky Williams, right? And the Vikings famously did that for Herschel, and the Cowboys got a whole load of draft picks out of it. So, point is though, if somebody makes you a stupid offer, sure, you'll take it because the stupid offer will counter the value on somebody like a Khalil Mack. But that's not to say that's what the Raiders are doing. They're not actively shopping him. So this idea of, they're going to trade him and they're going to get picks and a backup quarterback. Easy with that. Like, they're not going to trade him for a backup quarterback. The guy's a once-in-a-lifetime player. He's going to be in silver and black. And listen, he's the one that's...
There's a report after the Packers game or before it. You said they weren't actively shopping him. But there was a report, again, I don't know the validity, that Reggie McKenzie and all that talked to people on the Packers, and now the Packers are possibly interested.
Well,
so
sure
that
they
might
did.
Mean that might mean the Raiders shopped him.
No, that's not what that means. What that means is that they met midfield. And, somebody, Ron Wolf or whoever else said, hey, Reggie, what's going on with Khalil? Would you part with him? I don't know. We're not really interested in it. Well, would you send him over for a draft pick? I don't know. Probably not. You probably need to send me 3 number 1s and I might consider it. Like that. Can conversations like that happen? Yes, that's exactly what happens. Now, does that mean the Raiders are interested? No. Would they be interested if somebody made him a stupid offer? Sure, because anybody would be. So listen, this whole stupid thing about this, oh, my cousin's sister's brother picked him up at the airport and he's going to visit the Lions.
The Detroit.
Listen.
There's a report. Let people know about the report. Apparently there was a report from a cabbie that Khalil Mack They picked him up from the airport, and he's going to meet with the Detroit Lions general manager again. But
he's not an unrestricted free agent. He's got no control over this. The Raiders have the control. The Raiders own his contract. Listen, if you want to criticize somebody, how about Raider Nation? You criticize 52 for not being in goddamn camp when he's under contract. He signed the extension. He's the one not showing up. So there's a hot take for you. How about the guy why don't you do your job, dude? Like, why don't you show up and then maybe you can negotiate for your contract? Because the Raiders have always said that. We're not going to negotiate with players that aren't in camp. Well, show up, Khalil, just like Donald did and everybody else did and got their money.
Are you in agreement that he's not worth $20 million or more? Because earlier in our show season, you were like, "Yeah, he deserves it" and all that. And I don't know. I'm asking you again, Murph.
Yes, I'm still with him. I still think that he is deserving of the money and that he's going to get paid, and that there's many moving parts, that it doesn't boil down to the Raiders not having money and all that other garbage. So, but do I think that he should and will get paid? Yes, I still feel that way. But the further this thing goes on, though, the less and less I get attached to Khalil Mack. I'll just say that.
Correct.
Like, I mean, look, I love it. Don't hate on me, Raider Nation, because I love the guy. Look, I want him to be a Raider for life. He's one of my favorite modern Raiders there is. But listen, I'm a Raider fan before I'm a Khalil Mack fan, and if this dude is going to mortgage our ability to be successful in the future, then see you goodbye. I've been a Raider fan long before you were drafted. I'll be a Raider fan long after you retire, brother. You know what I mean?
Good take. Let's move on. There's too much talk in the regular media about Khalil Mack. You guys can watch it over there. But look, would you trade him?
No.
Right now, within the next 2 weeks?
No.
Neither would I. But here's a little tidbit that I learned. Again, we have him this year under the contract. He could possibly be franchise tagged in 2019 and 20 for like $18 million, then $20 million, I believe, in 2020, but we also have a third year. He could be reserve tagged, unrestricted, where another team can give him an offer of like $22 million, and then we can match it. So we kind of can technically get Khalil Mack for under $24 million for 3 years. Technically, it's very interesting. All right, let's move on. In good news, I wouldn't trade him either, but I'm hoping he gets into camp. Marshawn Lynch, I'm just proud of this, so I'm going to play it in the background. We can just talk, but he's on a bag of Skittles, and I just think it's beautiful to watch him play around, and it was long overdue. It was long overdue, and unfortunately, because of trademark issues, there's no Raider logo, and he's not on the bag of Skittles as a Raider because they didn't want to pay and get sued by the Raiders and the NFLP. But Marshawn Lynch, look at him just, I don't know, talk about this. I love it. Look, he's just finding his Skittles.
I love it. Doesn't he say, "Mama, we made it," when he opens this thing up? That's awesome.
Like,
so good.
We made it. What would be your favorite flavor of Skittles? Make a name for one, like lemon Gruden lime or something like that. I don't know.
How about oh gosh, I don't know. Let's see. I don't know.
You know why I called it lemon
Gruden
lime, right?
No, why?
You know why I called the flavor of Skittles lemon Gruden lime? Because lemon and lime are a little bit sour, and they leave a bad taste in your mouth. And right now, with Gruden, I'm a little concerned, but it's all good. I love it.
There you go. I was gonna say I like the wild berry Skittles and the cherry one, the red one. That's the bomb right there. You can't escape the enjoyment that you get out of a red Skittle, man.
I would eat a cherry car all day. Get it, Derek Carr, cherry car.
Yes.
Hey, but congratulations, Marshawn Lynch. What a good thing to create a brand from being a running back and just eating Skittles during the game. What a great thing.
Absolutely. Good stuff.
All right, now this freaks me out again. I do not like every time I see a Jamarcus Russell story. It just pisses me off and it brings me back to bad moods. But Jamarcus Russell proved that he's an egomaniac, money maniac in his rookie year. There's a story from Kirk Morrison, the former Raider, that when Jamarcus Russell had to do the talent show, they have to get on stage or get in front of the team and do a talent, that he walked on there with probably his $80 million guaranteed, whatever the hell it was, and he made it rain in front of the team. And the people in the front row, they're like, even Josh McCown was in the front row, and he's like, that was a good day for us. So can you imagine Raider players picking up money from Jamarcus Russell's idiot butt making it rain?
This is a fantastic story. Kirk Morrison tells a few of them. He also tells a great story about how the coaches gave John DeFilippo gave Jamarcus a DVD with plays on it and said, take this home and study it and bring it back tomorrow and tell us what plays you like on it. And so he brought it back the next day and he said, Coach, I love them all. And he said, well, tell us which ones you really like and we'll work on it. He said, man, I'm good to go with all of them. Let's go. I can run any of them. He gave him a blank DVD. So yeah. So he never watched any of them. So there's some, but listen, this is kind of what my point was a little bit earlier. Look, next time you want, not when I say you, I mean the proverbial you, not you, Mikey. Next time you want to complain about John Gruden, next time you want to complain about, our backup quarterback situation, next time you want to complain about the state of the Raiders, just rewind your brain a little bit to about 10 years ago, and this is what we had to deal with. This was the state of the organization. We had overhead projectors, Lane Kiffin and Jamarcus goddamn Russell. Like, listen, what we're in now is like heaven compared to what it was like back then. So we're in good shape, Raider Nation.
Good point. But if I could just channel Al Davis for a quick second, Jamarcus Russell is a good quarterback. He's a fantastic quarterback. Hold on. Let me turn on the projector.
Oof, those are rough, man.
I don't know. In a good fan comment, I like to present a fan comment, a good one, positive, from Big Dog Goofy. He wrote, after a long day at work, this right here is a much-watched show. Good brother, keep it up, meaning our show, Mondays with Mike and Murf.
Awesome.
So I love positive comments. Let's move on. It's time for the game recap. We'll just get into the quick stats. We're apparently still leading the AFC West from last week's game. The Raiders win in a stunning win. I don't know how, but 13-6. Give me your instant reaction, Murf.
Yeah, this was the most boring football game I've ever seen in my entire life. This was terrible, man. Like, look, I'm as diehard as they come, and I watch every single snap of every single game. But this was a rough watch, man. I would rather watch, the Little League World Series this time of year than I mean, it's I almost felt like I was doing homework just so I could talk about it intelligently on our shows. But the Chris Warren touchdown was good to see. It was nice to see the young pass rush. We were. Back when minicamp happened or rookie camp even, when we saw some of the pictures of the young men, Key, Hurst, PJ Hall, of course to go along with Calhoun and the other guys that were, well, Calhoun wasn't there yet, but you know what I mean? When these other guys, when they all started to come together, it was just like, they just looked intimidating. Like they just looked like, I don't know, just like there was something there. Like there's an it factor almost that comes across from these guys. And now it's starting to show on the field. So that is really encouraging. The idea that we only needed really to hit on one or two of these guys, really just one, if it was Key or Hurst or Hall. And now like it's looking like we could be hitting on all three. Like, holy cow. Like I don't want to diminish the value and the need for having Khalil Mack in the building. But Mikey, dude, if we're going to generate this kind of interior pass rush, wait till Bruce Irvin gets up and running here. Like, I mean, dude, like our quarterbacks are going to be in for a long day when they play our Raiders this year. So that to me was encouraging. But outside of that, pretty much a snooze fest.
Yeah, I mean, in summary, I can talk about, offense forever. I just honestly believe the defense is at a better point in this preseason than the offense, whether that be Gruden not putting players on the field, whatever. I just feel the defense is that much above so far until Monday night when we see the real offense. But that's a good thing to see because Paul Guenther is letting the players play, and apparently they like his coaching style as opposed to last year's Raiders defensive coordinators, and maybe they feel comfortable. And it's a nice thing to see because we need defense. And even without Khalil Mack, I'm not saying they're better, but they're looking nice, and that's a real good thing for Raider Nation to see on defense. And the young players, finally, it looks like some of the picks might be working out. But they're Gruden picks, possibly, not Reggie McKenzie's. All right, let's get officially into, again, we don't need to talk about this game too much. Move on, man. We're waiting for Monday night, brother.
Yeah.
These are the fumbles, and I do not like seeing this from the offensive line. E.J. Manuel had 2. Derek Carr had 1. He didn't lose it. We had 3 fumbles. Oh, my God. It's just really bad to see. But let's get into the passing stats and quick thoughts on the position of the passing of this game.
Not a lot there. I mean, Carr's deep pass to Amari was nice. I would like to see him get a little more loft under it. I hate seeing him. Amari is so good at adjusting to the football and elevating and coming back for it, but you want to see kind of Carr hit him a little bit better in stride. Seems like that's happened a few times here, not only in some of the preseason, but the practice stuff that we've seen. So you want to see him air it out a little bit more. But outside of that, I don't want to say that the backup quarterbacks are maligned because, look, they're the ones that are out there playing and they're earning all these numbers and this game film, but they're also getting roughed up back there, man. I mean, the offensive line, the backup version of the offensive line is not doing well. Even when we saw Donald Penn over there switch over to right tackle.
He messed up.
Ultimately, he had a great game, but on that one play, man, he was on skates and got shoved right back into Derek Carr. So, again, you don't want to tie too much up into this stuff, but it certainly is. It needs to be addressed. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think we have a backup quarterback that's worthy of Derek Carr on this roster.
Oh, no.
I'd prefer a veteran. And the switch between Kolton Miller and Donald Penn, it's going to take some time.
Yep.
Donald Penn's going to make some mistakes this year. But in summary, it had to have been done that way for Kolton Miller to succeed. Gruden is putting Kolton Miller in the best possible aspect to succeed instead of switching him from right to left during the preseason, in training camp, to where Kolton Miller, at least he can focus on one thing and get better. And Donald Penn, look, it's going to be a process. But in summary, Breno G. Kamini, or the right tackle that we thought from Seattle with Tom Cable, was cut. So we definitely need Donald Penn, and he's better than what they got there so far, and that's why they played him at right tackle. Derek Carr looked good for what it was. I'm excited, but I don't like the quarterback backup situation. Rushing is a little bit more of a gamble. I didn't like what I saw from Doug Martin. I really expected more, and I didn't see it. And that was against pretty much the second string defense from Packers. And Doug Martin looked like the shades of Tampa Bay from last year and the year before, and it's just scaring me. Chris Warren did his thing. Jalen Richard caught some balls out of the backfield. I wanted more out of Doug Martin because basically they're saying he's like solidified his spot. Now I'm thinking maybe he should earn it.
Yeah, well, he's got a dead cap number of $600,000. So, I mean, they got a relatively decent investment in him, of course, but that's only for 1 year. So it's not like it would carry over if they did have to move on from him. But I'm with you. Like, we were told that he had automatically made the team, and that's why they were saving him up. But then they put him out there against inferior talent, and then he didn't really do much. And, he's consistently going to be overshadowed, and so will everybody, aside from Marshawn, is going to be overshadowed by Chris Warren. And then I kind of like Jalen Richard's role in this, where he's kind of found his way into being the third down back, being the pass catcher out of the backfield, and that's a very specific role that he's going to fit in. I know we're going to talk about wide receivers in a minute, but wide receiver room, running back room, like there are a few rooms that are defensive line. There are a few rooms that are really crowded on the depth chart. And so, look, if moving Ryan Switzer, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a second, is a corresponding move to allow an extra player, this would be maybe where it is, would be here on running back.
How many running backs make the team? DeAndre Washington will probably be put on IR or released or cut within the next week. But give me your starting 4 or 3. Like, how many do we have on the roster? Give me your starting 4 or 3.
The Raiders released their depth chart. When we look at it here at running back, you got Marshawn, Doug Martin, Jalen, and then DeAndre Washington. And so obviously Marshawn and Martin, I mean, those are going to be 1 and 2. And then I think it's Warren and Richard. I think they carry 4. I think they'll take a hit and carry either one less tight end or one less wide receiver, and then carry the extra running back. And I don't know. I feel like it's going that way. Or maybe Martin's. I don't know. I don't see him moving on from Martin.
Yeah, maybe 4 running backs, 1 fullback. I don't know.
Keith Smith is going to be on this football team one way or the other. Like, Keith is a lock. So now if you go 4 after that, I don't know. That's just one of those things where they're going to start playing with numbers. This is where if you don't carry the third quarterback, it frees you up to carry that extra roster spot for the running back or whatever. So we'll just have to see how it plays out.
We'll definitely discuss that next week when we get into official cuts and releases. Caught that nice catch on the first down, which proved Gruden is trying to get him the ball early, which is good because if you can get Amari Cooper started early, him and Derek Carr with chemistry, that spells success for every other wide receiver, every other running back, every other blitz package, whatever. get Amari Cooper started early, and I really love seeing that. A lot of the and then the receivers that stood out to me this week was Marcel Aitman. He's been working his way up the depth chart, and then Griff Whalen officially won the job. I said whoever would have the better game this week between Ryan and Belt in my pregame fix. I felt whoever had the better game would win the job. And then Ryan Switzer was officially traded to the Steelers earlier today. So your thoughts on the receiving group and the trade?
Well, John Gruden today in his press conference said Dwayne Harris is going to return kicks for us this year. So really it was a combination of Whalen and Harris that led to the Switzer trade. Raiders get a 5th-round pick in exchange for Switzer and a 6th-rounder. So I think your starting 4 look like Nelson, Cooper, Roberts, Bryant, and then, so Dwayne Harris is on there as the returner. And then after that, I mean, it's kind of up in the air, right? You mentioned Marcel Aitman. They got a draft pick invested in him. Johnny Holton's still in the mix. Griff Whalen's in the mix. But I think but after those first
Griff
4.
Whalen has turf toe. He has turf toe.
That's right, yeah.
And he's being put on IR for I don't know how many weeks.
I think
maybe
it's
5, 6. I don't know.
I think Seth is going to be the regular 4th guy or even 3rd guy because Seth is a great run blocker. And that's the thing is that, and I don't talk about it enough, is that he's a great run blocking wide receiver. And we know the Raiders are going to run the heck out of the football this year. So he's a great one to have in there to do it. So even despite his questionable hands at times, they got a lot of money tied up in him and he can block well. So I think Seth is a lock for that. So those are your 4.
Let's go over it for me. Okay, so we got, let's see, Jordy Nelson, Amari Cooper, Martavius Bryant.
Seth.
Then number 4, we're saying for sure Dwayne Harris is on the team.
Yeah, and then Seth. So there's 5.
And then Seth, that's 5. Are we carrying 6 in terms of Griff Whalen?
That determines what's going to happen with the running backs and then some of the other positions. That's where you get that flex spot, where you get that 1 or 2 roster spots where you can kind of overload at one position or the other. So we'll just have to see. I mean, because Aitman's you got a draft pick. I would think Aitman, if anybody's going to make the team, right? I mean, he's got more ceiling or more upside anyways.
Practice squad. Maybe so Griff Whalen or somebody, if they don't return, I don't know. Let's go to the defense side of the ball, which was the most amazing side. Young players look pretty damn good. It's nice to see. Doesn't mean they are bona fide stars, but it's nice to see young players that were drafted as well playing good. They're playing better than even Mario Edwards when he was drafted in the previous 3 seasons. We got Jason Kambinda, linebacker, doing his thing. Fidel Brown, Trayvon Hester, Azim Victor, and Shalik Calhoun. We had a Shalik Calhoun sighting, and he looked pretty decent. And they're all giving credit to Paul Gunther. And Eric Harris is still doing his thing.
Yeah.
And it's a nice thing to see. And these young players are coming up, and I'm proud as heck. And just quick thoughts on the Oakland defense.
Yeah, it's exciting, man. As I mentioned, the pass rush is going to be a lot to deal with, and the coverage, man, has been top-notch. Gary Conley is, he's looking like a first-round corner. I mean,
Bust.
I hate to use the term lockdown because that's kind of
you're calling – I thought I was calling him a bust on accident.
No, dude, he's played amazing. If you look at his rating and you look at – no, he's awesome. No, he's looking –
I don't see any tackles. I don't see nothing.
Yeah.
So maybe that's because he's a set down. You're right.
Yeah, because people aren't throwing at him because they're not open. Like, that's a good thing. You know what I mean? Look at some, remember it was always with Nnamdi, just to use a Raider example. Nnamdi never got thrown to, like never. Like and it was always like, well, is he that great? Because we never see him in play. Well, yeah, no one throws at him. They're afraid to because he's going to pick them off. Like, so no, Gary Conley's done fantastic.
I don't watch Gary on Conley. I don't know. For some reason, when I'm watching the game, I just don't focus on him. But you're probably to watch the game again. Okay, but finish your thoughts on defense.
That's it. So I'm just excited. Just to overall, if you got, pass rush helps your coverage helps your pass rush. So if we're getting to the quarterback, you can make your cover corners look fantastic. And then same thing as vice versa. Those offensive linemen can only block for so long. And if you keep those players, you keep those receivers out there covered up, then eventually your pass rush is going to get there. So these things complement each other well. And this is probably the most balance that we've had on both of those, secondary to front seven, that we've had in a very, very long time. So I'm with you. It's encouraging. It's going to be fun to watch.
I completely agree. I just like having young players wanting to play and do good and be put in a system where they have fun. All right. The kick return game. It's on screen. Dwayne Harris, Mike Nugent, Eddie Piñeiro's injured, groin injury. Something's going on. Mike Nugent might literally be the kicker for the opening day. And I don't know if Eddie Piñeiro's will cut or released or practice squad or IR. We'll figure that out in a couple minutes. Johnny Townsend's average on punting keeps going up. It was 30, almost 39 the first game. Then it was 41 point something in the second game. Now it's 45 average. I'm loving Johnny Townsend.
Yeah.
He's constantly beating out or getting close to Marquette King's number while he was with the Raiders. I love it. Quick thoughts on the kick return game, punt return game.
I think Pinero's going to be fine. Nugent's going to remain the camp leg until Pinero gets healthy. Healthier. This is one of those things where preseason actually does apply because it's transferable, right? Like you kick in the preseason like you kick in the regular season. There's no change there, so you do want to see those reps. So hopefully we'll see Pinero get back this week. But, yeah, I mean, we're going to be fine. We're talking about kickers. So just like we're talking about backup quarterbacks, like let's, you know what I mean? Let's keep the main thing. So I think we'll be just fine.
I kick the ball. I kick ball.
Exactly.
I'm from Western Ukraine. I kick ball.
So we just got to hope that, you know, the Raiders are in positions where they need. Now, they're going to end up being in a position because every team is going to end up in a position to need their kicker. But listen, we're going to be just fine. Let's get him healthy. And then Mike Nugent will end up, a Brown.
Gotcha. It's time for studs, duds, and sleepers. The most famous segment on our show, Murf. I'm just kidding. I have no clue. Give me your stud, your dud, and your sleeper from this week's game.
You know, I don't want to sound like a broken record and just take the easy take, but, man, Chris Warren continues to produce. Again, like the most exciting thing in the game last week was him scoring that touchdown. But, you know, if I had to move off that script, I would say maybe some of the guys on the defense. Give me Fedol Brown. He was somebody that I was kind of down on early, and I'm still not completely sold on him. But he had a great game. And, after he had that personal foul in the Rams game, I thought, oh, here we go. This is going to be a guy that can't control his temper and whatnot. But then came right back and had a great game, so kudos to him. I was off on my take about him after the Rams game, and so, we'll see. He's got a shot to make the team for sure.
What about your dud and your sleeper?
My duds, I guess it's hard to not pick the quarterbacks, but I'm gonna stick with my same dud from last week and go with Feliciano. I mean, he fired another snap over, you know what I mean? Like, and again, see, and that's where, like, all right, it hit EJ in the hands, so you want your quarterback to corral that thing, but he shouldn't have to be in that position to begin with. He should have got a clean snap. So my dud is gonna be Feliciano. And then as far as sleepers go, guy's been in the league a long time. He's 30 years old, but Dwayne Harris, I didn't think Dwayne Harris was going to make the football team. And then, I thought Ryan Switzer was going to be the guy to bring some spirit back to our special teams this year. But, he didn't have any, have the explosiveness that the coaches were looking for. And it ends up being 30-year-old Dwayne Harris. So kudos to him, man. He kind of came out of nowhere and took that job. And Gruden announced him today. He said Dwayne Harris is going to return kicks for us this year. He just flat out said it. So you can, out of all our dang depth chart here we're looking at, out of the 53, you can pen that one in. You don't have to pencil that one.
I mean, you have to. After Ryan Switzer gets traded and Griff Whalen is pretty much going to go on IR, Gruden has to announce somebody so the media just shuts their mouth.
That's a good point.
But it also goes to Gruden bringing in another veteran. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but, the media wants to make fun of it. And some of, people like me, but I'm just saying.
How about this one?
Another veteran.
How about this one, Mikey? I had one of our, the folks on our Facebook group today posted this up. What about the idea that Jalen Richard could still return some kicks also, and that carries value to special teams, which helps him with the spot on the team. So, we're talking about the fluidity of the running back spot. There's another dynamic that Jalen Richard adds that these other guys don't. So.
Has done it in previous seasons, so that's a good backup. My stud, I'm going to give it to Amari Cooper just because I want him to be the stud, and it looked really nice. He got the ball early, and I just wish they played longer because I wanted to see more of it. I loved it. I'm going to call that my stud. It's the AC/DC connection. The stud is the AC/DC connection. My dud, you know what? I'm going to say it's the entire quarterback backup depth chart. It's Connor Cook, it's Manuel, it's everything that's going on with the backup quarterbacks. And even Gruden looked beyond tired in the press conference after the game, but he looked like he wasn't having it. And I'm afraid, again, I get concerned that is Gruden getting tired? He's putting in so much work, and the's so much. It's been 10 years, And it's just maybe he's now realizing, my God, this is really daunting. I know he'll handle it moving forward correctly, but maybe he hit that wall right now. Like rookies do in the preseason, maybe Gruden hit the wall, and then Gruden's going to go back, regroup, get some, go juice. He's going to put it all together for the regular season. But I do think Gruden is a little burned out at the moment, possibly, but he'll be fine. I have respect. My sleeper from the game? Oh, goodness. You know what? Marshall Aitman. I think he stepped up big. I liked a lot of the catches he did. He really made it tough for them. Maybe he made himself on the roster, if not officially on the practice squad. So there we go. Now let's get into the something. Where am I? All right. Position battles, position cuts, and questions. This has kind of been answered. I made the graphic a day or two ago. But Ryan, Switzer, Griff Whalen, Roberts, and Aitman. Do the Raiders keep 6 wide receivers? We kind of went into it, but just give us a summary again of who you think the wide receivers will be.
Yeah, so Jordy, Amari, Seth, Bryant. That's your 4. And then after that, I'm going to say Aitman, and I'm going to say Johnny Holton. I'm going to give old 16 some love here on the show. I mean, I think it's really a crapshoot here as far as, whether they're going to carry 6 and if they carry 6, which one it would be. But, Holton's got some speed to him, and I think it's really if we're already locked in, but see, then we got Dwayne Harris. So see, I forgot about that. So never mind. Not Johnny Holton. I'm sorry. You got to be Dwayne Harris. It's got to be Harris, right? That he's got to be the 6. So yeah, no, that one. I'm gonna take that back. Unless you can put Harris at another position to account for him for special teams. But aside from that, he's the 6th wideout. So, no, that's it. So there you go.
I'm so bad with math, my brain doesn't remember anything. Okay, hold on. Amari Cooper, number 1.
Yeah.
Jordy Nelson, number 2.
Yeah.
Martavius Bryant, 3. And it doesn't matter the 4th, 5th, or 6th, but let's say Seth Roberts is on the team.
You're right.
Marcel Aitman's on the team.
Yeah, and then Harris.
That's 5. And then Harris, that's 6.
That's it. So it's got to be it.
So, Wayland's possibly the odd man out, if not coming off of IR. All right, Connor Cook versus E.J. Manuel. Or are they going to keep 2 or 3? And again, we went over this. I didn't even realize it when I made it. Any free agents out there you'd like them to look at?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's on the bubble on some of these rosters, but I would say it would not surprise me if it's one of these guys and a free agent, or maybe do they carry 2 or 3? I guess ultimately you got to answer that question first, right? Do they carry 3? I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to carry 2. And, Connor Cook he's going to have little to no value in the trade market. So the Raiders aren't going to be able to do like a Garoppolo kind of thing where they actually get value by moving him. So do you hang on to him until you got to pay him? I mean, is it worth it, or do you just go with the veteran? I'm going to say, and not just because, we've had him on our show, I'm going to go with E.J. Manuel. I think that, we know he's got the talent. We've seen it. And we've seen it in the Raider uniform as recently as last year. And we know he can make the throws. Is he got some ball control issues at times and some security issues, not control, but some security issues at times? Yes. But I think that is his ability to make the throws and to read coverages are better at this point than Cook. So I think what you maybe give up a little bit in security, or maybe you're equal in security.
So they keep 2?
I'm going to say they keep one of them. Yeah, 2, because Carr's 1. And so I'm going to say E.J. Manuel's the other.
All right. And I disagree. I think they should get rid of Connor Cook, E.J. Manuel, bring in Colin Kaepernick right away, or Teddy Bridgewater. But it won't be done. But if they do keep from the 2 or 3 that we mentioned, I believe it's E.J. Manuel. And I do agree with you that they keep 2, because here's another option. Remember Jordy Nelson on the Packers? He was the reserve quarterback.
Yeah, that's right.
For many seasons with the Packers on the depth chart. So the Raiders possibly to save at other positions, like you stated, they keep Derek Carr, E.J. Manuel, and maybe they got Jordy Nelson as a backup possibility quarterback on the roster in that position.
Hey,
he did it with the Packers.
Here's a little tidbit of information for you. Do you know who was a Maryland state champion high school quarterback that's on our football team?
Probably Marshawn Lynch.
Andrew DePaula, our long snapper.
Really?
Yeah, he sure was. So, yeah. So technically, I guess if you're looking for somebody to go in there and in a complete emergency, there's somebody that's done it before. There you go.
You know who's available on the free agent market, Murf?
Who's
to play quarterback for the Raiders?
You.
Mikey Raider.
There you go.
I will go in there and I will talk their heads off. I will talk so much smack, they won't even want to rush me because they're like, his brain is already injured. We don't even want to hit him. And I'll create some madness. It'll be beautiful. Who makes the team or who gets cut? Basically, it's the same answer. But if you don't make the team, you get cut.
Sure.
But in tight end, who makes the team? Derek as possibly the number 3. Derek Carrier, Paul Butler, or I think it's Pharaoh Brown, number 81.
Pharaoh Brown cannot get off my TV quick enough, not only because he wears number 81 and has Brown written on the back, which I think is just blasphemous, but he commits a holding penalty every freaking game. Like, no thank you. So I'm going to say we're Cook, Smith, and Derek Carrier are our 3 tight ends.
Yeah, I technically agree. I love what I saw from Paul Butler, though. He really played his butt off. He might be depending on how they do the rosters, I don't truly know, but he might be practice squad.
Yeah,
but he'll pick up a home somewhere, Paul Butler.
Yes.
And Pharaoh Brown, we don't have to see you in the number 81 for much longer. Kicker, Eddie Pinheiro, quick thoughts. Mike Nugent, we talked about it. Mike Nugent will go in. I don't think he'll be cut Pinheiro, but Mike Nugent will be our opening day starter as it looks so far.
Yeah, it's not uncommon to see rookies of all positions deal with injuries when they first come into the league because of the speed of the game and whatnot. So, I mean, it just kind of happens, right? And so, the rigors of the NFL are different than college football. So I think that's all Pinheiro is dealing with. And if it wasn't for that, Mike Nugent would not be kicking for us. But Nugent is there doing exactly what he should be, which is taking, the reps in the absence of Pinheiro. Think back to Tavecchio. How many times do we see Giorgio Tavecchio come in and kick while Seabass didn't, and then as soon as the season started, they cut Tavecchio and then off went Seabass to go kick field goals for us. So that's all we're seeing.
Another Gruden amazing veteran that's going to make this team at defensive tackle. Whether it's number 4, number 5, whatever, Mario Edwards, Trayvon Hester, Eddie Vanderdosh, he will be on IR. But let's go with Mario Edwards, Trayvon Hester. Do you think Mario Edwards makes the team?
Yeah, I think so, because he's versatile enough to play. One of the things about Gunther is that he plays, technically he's either a cover 2 or cover 4, 4-3 zone team. That's technically that's what he does. But he moves around all kinds of different hybrid fronts and double A gap blitzes and all kinds of stuff. And so you're going to see guys move all around. And so you got to have versatility. And I think out of these guys here that we're looking at between Edwards and Hester and Vanderdoes, Mario Edwards has more versatility to him, and the fact that he could kind of play out further and play a little bit more of a speed rush type position. And frankly, on the Raiders depth chart that they released this last week that I'm looking at, he's listed as the number 1 DT after Justin Ellis. So they're playing next to Justin Ellis. So I'm going to say that it's going to be Mario Edwards out of these 3 guys.
Yeah, again, but the DT will be replaced possibly, in my opinion, by P.J. Hall or Maurice Hurst.
Oh, and they're the next ones. And that's the thing, is that when you go Ellis, Edwards, Hall, Hurst, there's 4 right there. Now, again, just like a lot of these other conversations, are we carrying a 5th one?
They're backing up players. According to that depth chart, it says like Ellis, and supposedly his backup would be like Maurice Hurst or something like that, is what you're saying.
Right, but with the hybrid fronts, though, depending on what they're doing, these guys are going to be rotating in and out and moving around all over the place, and that's where Edwards has got more versatility to him. Plus, he's a 2nd-round pick. I guess Eddie was too, right? You know what I mean?
A lot of picks from Reggie McKenzie are being cut proven to be possible failures. I'm just throwing that out there. But we'll find out this week in this game. This is the game for Mario Edwards, Trayvon Hester, Maurice Hurst, P.J. Hall, whoever else we got going. I don't even know if they're going to play Maurice Hurst or P.J. Hall or some of the young players that look good.
Probably not.
What's going on?
Yeah,
they're probably not going to play them.
Yeah, Gruden
They're going to let all those backups or whoever play.
He said that today also in the press conference. This is going to be a game for the guys that are on the bubble. So all these guys we're talking about, are they a 5th or a 6th or on the team at all? That's who you're going to see. You're going to see an entire game of these guys. And frankly, it'll probably be pretty interesting to watch because they're going to be fighting literally for their jobs. So, these guys are going to be grinding.
All right, linebacker position. Let's just get into it real quick and move on. The show is amazing, but we always go too long because of my butt. James Cowser, Jason Kabinda, Sharice Wright, Leon Hall. Do any of them make the team?
I'd say out of anybody, it's going to be Cows is the long shot. I say he's the outside looking in, but again, back to that versatility. That's somebody that can. We saw him with an interception this year. It's somebody that can actually drop into coverage and not just rush the quarterback. So with that versatility, I say Cows makes the team.
Even Jason Kabinda, he doesn't make it. Sharice Wright, the cornerback.
No,
that's linebackers. What about out of the cornerbacks? Do any of those cornerbacks make the team?
Because again, you got looking at it now. So we got Rashawn Melvin, Garyon Conley, Daryl Worley, Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, and Nick Nelson. There's 5 right there just before we even get going. So I'm going to say,
Wright gone.
I think he's gone, and so is out of all the veterans here. I think that he's probably one of the ones that's on the short list. Yeah, of getting cut.
I'll say, look, I love Cowser. He's playing great. Depending on this game coming up, but Jason Kabinda looked amazing last week. And if he could put together another game, I think Kabinda might pull it out. But again, it's all important on this game. I think Kabinda might make the team.
And I'm also kind of rooting for in the secondary. I'm kind of rooting for Antonio Hamilton. I think if there's a 6th one to be played with in there, he might be a name that we could throw out on cornerback.
Good point. The ones on screen, I believe none of them make the team. Leon Hall will be a veteran that will not make this team. All right, let's move on. It's time for Stump Murf Fantasy Football Mock Draft. That's right. I don't know how good this segment will be, but Murf is officially in the Raider Superfan the Raider Superfan Fantasy Football League. His nickname in our league, he just joined, so he's going to play fantasy football with us this year. We're going to make fun of him all year on this show, and all that, but his nickname is Papa Murf. You don't have to cross your hands.
Okay.
There actually is no trivia.
Okay.
We're just gonna talk. We're gonna talk fantasy football and get your few opinions.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Pretty funny. So let me just throw this out there for the fantasy football aficionados that love going over roster picks and all that. Yesterday, I had my at-home Hollywood hardcore fantasy football league draft with a bunch of my friends. We all pay $500 each to play. We have a 12-team PPR league. We got together, and here's our official draft board.
Hi.
I will put it on screen for about 10 seconds so you guys can watch the show again. I was the 4th pick. There it is. But you guys can look at the way the draft went and get a feel for it. I will take that off the screen.
Wow.
And then after I inputted our draft into the NFL Fantasy, this is the prediction they gave me for my team. They predicted me to take it all. Captain EO, that's my name in the league, racks up receiving talent. Captain EO made sure not to waste an opportunity with the first draft pick, delivered a roster capable of beating any team in the Hollywood hardcore. They added running backs early, using 3 of their first 5 picks on ball carriers. Elsewhere in the roster, Captain EO was able to secure the best foursome of wide receivers in the league. So, look, I got kudos from NFL.com. And then there it is. That's my official roster. So this is what we're going to talk about, Murf. So there it is on screen. You guys can figure it all out. But what do you think, just going over it, rounds 1 through 15? Just at quick glance, give me some observations from Murf. Let's see your fantasy football intelligence, Murf.
All right. This is 2 things in one. This is what makes me a terrible fantasy football player and a great Raider fan. The first thing that jumped out at me is that you have Antonio Brown and Phillip Rivers on here, and at some point during the season, you're going to be rooting for these idiots. And shame on you, and shame on everybody that does this. I'm telling you, I get it. I understand the allure of fantasy football. I'm a Madden guy, and I love to play franchise Madden, and I play the Raiders, and I have a league of 31 other owners that I play and that I've been playing with for many years. Very fantasy football like, but I play with my Raiders, and we don't do a quote fantasy because this stuff right here, if there's ever a position on a Sunday where I'm on my couch and I'm rooting for Phillip Rivers, you can put an arrow in my back. Like I'm done. It's not going to happen. This is absolutely
a lot of money, though. I mean,
I don't care.
Go
you want to gamble? Go to Vegas. This is an atrocity. I don't like it.
Well, look, I mean, that's how the draft went. Phillip Rivers, according to my draft sheet, he scores over 300 points a year. And at value, again, in terms of that, getting rid of my fandom aside, I had to draft that. And I had to go, I believed into the Hard Knocks hype. I got Landry in the second round because PPR, he catches a lot of balls. That's a point per reception. I mean, I also went with Carlos Hyde. He looked pretty good. And then I had to go with Devontae Booker, a Bronco, in the 15th round, to solidify my – again, I couldn't get any Raiders, Murph. Mm-hmm. They knew I was a Raider fan, and sure. I kid you not, there was two other Raider fans in my league, and then almost every time I was possibly going to get Lynch or Amari Cooper, they fudged me, Murph, like right before it. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I couldn't get any Raiders on my squad this year. I just couldn't. So it really bothered me. And normally I take Sebastian Janikowski every year as my kicker in the 15th round. But, hey, just quick thoughts. Do you give me an A? Let your fans know.
No, I give you an F. No, you have Phillip Rivers on your fantasy football team. That is an F. No, you don't get no kudos from me on this. I'm sorry. Look, listen. I taking a shot at you. I thank you for your invite to play fantasy football. But look, here's the thing. And I've played fantasy football before, and I'm the guy that drafted Marcel Reese in the first round because I love Marcel Reese. He was a great player, and so I would draft Marcel Reese and Derek Carr, and they didn't really play a lot at the same time. But you know what I'm saying? That's who I had on my team. I would draft.
So you're literally telling me that when we have our online draft next Sunday, you're going to draft all Raiders or something like that?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm telling you. And here's what.
So you're tanking the season?
No,
come on, man.
No,
be competitive.
No, I want to root.
Please.
I want to root for my fantasy football. I will do my absolute best to put the best team on the field, but I'm not going to draft certain players. Teams
then
listen.
Don't pick from players that the Raiders team faces or the AFC West. You get it? If we don't face a team,
let me finish.
Pick a player from
their
team.
Let me finish. This is what I do. I pick Raiders first and foremost, and then if I need to make a choice for a player that's not a Raider, then I'll pick like Aaron Rodgers, or I'll pick somebody like that to where there's not a conflict, because I will not have a Bronco, I will not have a Chief, I will not have a Charger, I won't have a Niner, I won't have a Steeler, I won't have a Cowboy, I won't have a Patriot. I'm not putting those people on my team because I'm not going to root for them. I'm not going to have a Seahawk on there. I'm kind of limited. Sprinkle in some some Packers and some Titans or something, and then I'm good. But outside of that, man, I'm all Raiders every day, all day, and I'm not rooting ever for any of these other people. I don't care if there's money on the line, pride on the line. My fandom pride is always on the line. I was born a Raider fan. I'm a die Raider fan. Fantasy football can kiss my culo.
Look, I got to respect it. That's your opinion. I used to do that years ago. I would not draft from the AFC West. But now that so much money is on the line, and I love it, and when there's a Thursday night game, you get it. If it's like Cleveland or some other crappy team, it's kind of nice to watch and root for your players. But I will admit, whenever the Raiders play a team, whether it's for divisional standings or the AFC West or whatever, I root for the player, but I root for them to lose. So even if Phillip Rivers needs a touchdown, to win the game, I'm already winning in my fantasy season. I don't need that extra touchdown, so I hope the Chargers lose. Okay, but that's it. I love your fandom, and we'll talk about your team on next week's show.
With my team where I got Seth Roberts at wide receiver number 1, that team.
Oh, my God, Murph. There's too much money involved for me, man. I love it, but thank you for your fandom. I get it.
Hey, we're here to balance each other out, brother. That's what it's all about.
Let's get to one phone call. We only have time for one this week. It's from Namone Jackson.
Okay.
We call him Action Jackson. He's a part of Murf's show every once in a while, but he's an amazing Raider fan, and he wants to be a broadcaster, and he's doing it big, and he's schooling and getting educated, but he's amazing. And let's listen from Namone, baby.
What's up, Mikey and Murf? It's Namon Jackson from San Jose, California, a.k.a. Oakland Vegas Raider.
Yeah, man.
The now former employee of the Oakland Raiders. I actually had to quit, guys. It was a little overwhelming as far as my scheduling goes, so I had to let that go. Got a wedding to plan this summer, actually, and I got 2 other weddings to be in, so I just a little overwhelmed. Let's talk football. Let's move forward. Let's talk football. This game with the Rams, man, hell of a game, right? As far as Murf's predictions with Markel Lee and Warren standing out. Man, they really lit it up. A good call by Murf. As far as Warren goes, he looks good. He didn't play with the ones for the Rams or for the Raiders, and he did light it up though. He looks good. He looks real good. Yeah. Doug Martin though, what does that mean for him? He's only had like one carry the entire preseason, so it doesn't really say much. I think Washington's on his way out though. I think Jalen Richard's gonna be that third down back. Going forward, man, actually Calhoun and James Cowser are just wrecking it up, aren't they? Those guys came in and they're just tearing it up. Calhoun made a lot of noise in the backfield, and Cowser made that nice pick. And those guys have been hanging out ever since the draft. You think about it, I don't know if they were in the North and South or that Senior Bowl game together, but they definitely were in this pass rushing segment they had on the network. And I know they met there, and they went to China together. So these guys are good friends. Yep. These guys got a little chemistry going on. And last but not least, you got P.J. Hall and Maurice Hurst, who were just making noise up in the middle, just getting upfield hard. And that's exciting to see. Game was kind of boring, very vanilla, but it was cool to see the Raiders battle back the way they did. See some depth players make it happen. Backup quarterback still an issue. Don't know what's going on there. We'll see what happens, man. We got 2 more games. They're coming back home to play these Packers. Should be pretty interesting, man. But I apologize for not giving you guys any sound bites after that first time. I worked one more day, and it just got a little too overwhelming, and I had to let it go. But no big deal. So keep it moving. We'll watch these Raiders, and we'll watch you guys. Listen to what you guys got to say, man. I appreciate everything you guys do. I'm out. Oakland Vegas Raider.
I call you Action Jackson, and I pronounce your name wrong every week. Forgive me. But in summary, what he was talking about was he was working for the Raiders, but he's got a real life, and he's also trying to become a broadcaster, help out with my channel, Murf's channel, and whatever. Because on my network, I can only speak for myself. I'm also trying to create content with some fans and get different shows. We also got a show that we're working on called A State of the New York Raider Mind, or A State of Mind with New York Raider. It hasn't come to fruition yet.
Oh, cool.
Everybody, it's a process, guys, but I'm trying to get some more content on this channel, but that's what they were doing. But Action Jackson, we love you. Maybe it'll work out in the future. We'll figure something out. But out of respect, you will be in the Fantasy Football League this year as well. I'm going to send you a link soon, so we'll get him in there. He might not be in our league, Murf. I have another private league for Raider. Okay. Our league is full, and then I have another one where people pay like $25 or something. I got a lot of them, Murf. I got a lot of fantasy leagues. I got a lot of teams to root for, Murf. Say what's up to Action Jackson, brother.
Yeah, man. So thank you, Namone, for calling in, and appreciate the compliments. And I really enjoyed his camp report that he had from that first week when the alumni were in town. That was an awesome job. I understand though life gets in the way, man, and you got other things to focus on. But I appreciate your supporting us and what we do both here and on the other endeavors. And so keep them coming, man. Even if if you can't do the camp reports, definitely keep calling the show though, man, because we appreciate your take. And I enjoyed. We all met doing a Raiders roundtable back a while ago, and I really enjoyed the interaction with him. He's a great Raider fan, man. So definitely keep that stuff coming to Mo.
In summary, Raider Nation, please listen to me. Hear me out. We love your calls. The number is on screen, but it's very simple. If you got a good question or something you want answered, or just to give advice or tell a quick story of your life, I don't care what it is, but make it like 30 seconds or long and just be like, what's up, Mikey and Murf? Here's my topic. Here's my question. Love you guys, or whatever. My name is this and that. And it's very quick, and we'll get you on the show. So
what happened to Raider Godzilla, man? We need more Raider Godzilla on this show.
Hey, we got a quick question from Mean519 on the forum. He said, when is the Raider critique and Murf going to have that debate that we talked about last week? Have you guys even discussed it?
Yeah, so he emailed me and proposed a couple of different ideas, and I think ultimately we'd like if I told him to get in touch with you and we would work it out. Since he proposed it on this show, I figure even if it's not on Mondays and with Mikey and Murf, but something with the On Air Nation channel, I thought would be appropriate. So we'll just kind of link up.
Maybe an interview, 5-10 minute debate.
Yes,
you can record it.
Absolutely.
In your studio.
Yeah, something. Yeah, we won't be able to do it here physically, but we can link up through Hangout or whatever else. And we thought maybe have you moderate it. I thought that would be a good idea. Again, since it was proposed here, something that we could piece together and then post up. But yeah, we've talked a little bit about it. Haven't got into any of the gory details on setting it up. But it's a crazy time of year, right? So as much as Mikey and I love coming on and doing the show, which is like the game playing for us, it's the practice and it's the camp that leads up to it. It's a lot of work behind the scenes for us to produce and do all these things. So my schedule is pretty full already just producing podcasts and video casts. So we'll just kind of have to work it in. And plus I'm getting ready to go to the game here week 1. So once that kind of all settles down, we get into more of the ongoing regular season, then we'll probably set up a little more formality to it. And we'll announce some. Stay tuned on it. Just stay tuned.
Long story short, I believe what, we're all trying to say is Raider fans, Raider Nation, we are trying to get conversations, videos with you guys online more and more. It's a process. It'll take some time, but I promise we are trying to figure this out correctly. We don't just want to all of a sudden do it and then have issues and it not be a little bit semi-professional.
Exactly.
So stay tuned, but thank you guys for being fans. All right, let's get into this week's game. And this show is an ever-changing process. It may change from week to week. We may have technical issues. We may not be able to do a show depending on time frames. We don't know, but we're trying to come to you as much as we can. All right, it's the 4th preseason game. What are your expectations? This is the London preview, they're calling it in the media. Really? The London preview? Man. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, look, you got a team that's window is rapidly closing. And then you have another team that's window it opened up a couple of years ago and then it kind of slammed shut. Now it's starting to open up back again. But you got kind of 2 ships passing in the night here, right? You got the Seahawks that are on their way down. Of course, they're always going to be competitive when you got people like Russell Wilson Jr., the third playing quarterback. And then the Raiders are on the upswing. So expectations to see nobody that we're going to see play in week 1. This is going to be, as we mentioned already, a battle for roster spots. It's going to be a bunch of 5th and 6th places on the depth chart. This is going to be, the numbers 45 through 40 or 45 through 53. You're going to see competing here. So that's it. Maybe I guess if anything that I would hope to quote hang a hat on or anything, maybe better play out of the quarterback. I mean, I feel like it's really overblown, that idea, but I'll just go ahead and go with it. To see some ball security, it should look, because here's the thing. It should be. You're going against 2nd and 3rd and 4th stringers of the Seahawks too. So for E.J. Manuel or Connor Cook, whoever is back there should have a great game. So that's my expectation, that they're going to have a great game. If they don't, then it's just, whatever.
Yeah.
But there you go.
It is what it is. That's why we talked about our cuts and some of the people that make the team in this show, because right after that game, those cuts and those things are going to start. And my expectations for this game is I guarantee the backups will play. That's a joke pertaining to the starters of the last 2 weeks. According to the media, they're like, the starters are going to play, but I guarantee the backups are going to play. And I expect a fight or two, because on both sides of the ball, on the field fights, I believe it, because I think the depth for both teams is really going to be trying to make a roster or get noticed.
Yeah, they'll be scrappy.
I expect a great game.
You'll see people taking out kicks that they have no business taking out. You'll see passes attempted. You'll see people forcing things, and that can create a lot of.
You know what? You're right. Yeah. In the end zone, the guy should kneel and not take the kick, but he's going to be like, man, it's my only chance.
Taking it out.
What to watch for? Can Connor Cook or E.J. Manuel do anything? That's all I'm going to say. Chris Warren is great. The defense will probably look decent. They're going to have fun. But I need an answer with Connor Cook and E.J. Manuel. What do you want to watch for, Murf?
Yeah, that's it. Same. I agree.
All right. I believe the standout from this week will be, you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say Seth Roberts. I've said it all preseason and almost every show. I want him to earn his $4.5 million. That's it. That's all I want. He's a good guy, great guy, made the team. I just want to see him earn it. That'll be my standout on offense. On defense, somebody go on, Murf.
I'm gonna go with standout on offense. I have not been I don't want to say proven wrong yet, but he's kept up what he's doing. It's not about me being right in calling it. It's about him continuing to produce in an unexpected way, and that's Chris Warren. So he will be our standout offensively. Again, you're gonna have a bunch of low stringers going from the Seahawks, so he ought to be able to barrel through that defense. And then on our defense, those young men up front, man. I've my standout has been Markel Lee pretty much every week, but this week I'm going to back off of that a little bit because I think Markel Lee is a lock to make the team and a lock for his position, where these other guys up front begin because of that hybrid, not necessarily because of one guy is outplaying one another, but just because Gunther is going to do so much with them in the regular season, moving them around. I just want to see these guys up front just go eat quarterbacks, man. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I would love to see a standout from anybody. Somebody mentioned Doug Martin, but with Gruden, who knows how much he'll play? Yeah. Maybe they love what they see from Doug Martin. I have no clue.
I don't know.
Standout on defense, you know what? I'm just going to throw it out there. Jason Kabinda. Let's do it. All right, prediction.
What happened to your Ian Silberman, man? You were on that guy for so long.
Oh, he messed up last week, man. He didn't look so good last week. Yeah. I don't know what happened. I still think he makes the team, or at least practice squad, but I'm cool with it.
All right.
Give me your final score predictions.
Gosh, I'm just so terrible at these things. What was the?
It's fun. Who cares?
I don't know, man. These preseason games. 20-17 Raiders win.
All right. 20-17 Raiders win versus the Seahawks. We haven't scored a lot. We haven't even scored over like 16 points, I think, this season. I'm going to say Raiders win 9. No, Raiders lose 9-13.
There you go.
You know what? I don't care. I don't care anymore, Murph. I'm done with
That's probably a very accurate pick. Let's put a pin in the preseason, buddy.
I'm done with the preseason. I'm stupid. I don't care anymore. I want to get to Monday Night Football, Murph.
Yes.
All right. Who's your MVP? If you have one, just throw it out there.
Chris Warren.
Chris Warren. All right. You know what? I'm going to throw out Seth Roberts. Well, all right. There it is. It's officially 90 minutes, and we're kind of ending the show.
Hey, we did good, Mikey.
It's not 2.5 hours. It's not a marathon.
No, that means that if this were a regular Monday night, we would be checking out just in time for kickoff, man. This is perfect.
Again, so in previewing of the shows to come, every Monday, 4 p.m., we will get offline around 5:30, and that's about 10 minutes before Monday Night Football officially starts. So you can pregame every Monday with Mondays with Mike and Murph. Then you can get your football on Monday Night Football. I am Mikey Raider. I'm getting out of here, and I'm drinking that positivity juice, Raider Nation. I promise I'm going to try to get rid of the hatred because I've been talking a lot of smack to you guys because I've been hurt. But, hey, this is positive juice, and we're going to get positive moving forward. Because it's football, Murph.
Yeah,
baby. It's almost football.
Oh, can't wait, man. Fired up. Can't wait.
Fired up, baby. All right, Murph. Sing it with me, Murph. They keep asking for you to sing it with me, the outro. I know you can't hear the music, but you gotta sing it with me.
Okay, I'll try.
Let's go. It's Mondays with Mike and Murph. We talking Raiders and football dirt. Go, Murph.
A new Raiders talk show.
They're having good times. Let's go. Because what?
It's Mondays with Mikey and Murph.
That's right, Raider Nation. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you next Monday. I love you all. Positive juice every day of your life. And God bless. Murph would like me to tell everybody, God bless.
Amen. Amen.
All right, we are out. Thank you very much.